All right, just to confirm for my listeners who we got on the phone here, it is the one and only Jess Done. Am I saying that right?
Yes. Hello.
Hello. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I got to say, this is, I was told by other people not to cover my mouth, so I'm going to make a conscious effort not to cover my mouth when I talk. But yeah, this is different in that you and I have spoken already at least once or twice, and most of the people I speak to, it's a first time. So I hope that continuity, I guess, bleeds off into this conversation, because I really liked our last one. I hope you did too.
Yeah, me too. Me too. No, I've been waiting for this for a while, so I'm glad we can find the time.
That's awesome. Yeah, once again, I'm going to just dive into some fun questions, get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll dive into some industry ones. Is that cool?
Yeah, sounds great.
What was the last song you were listening to before you spoke to me?
Warthog by Simula.
I'm not familiar.
Really, really fucking dirty song. I was getting my tracks ready for my live stream tonight, and that was one I actually found on Reddit because there was a thread talking about just like dirty songs and how they're all just kind of coming out as like deep rollers. So I thought I'd give this one a shot, and this one stuck out more than the rest. It was a bad example for him to use, but it really resonated with me, and it's friggin' huge. So definitely, I recommend everybody to go check that one out.
I recommend that too. And where would they hear your thing? I don't usually do this so early in the interview, but what is the live stream address?
Our live stream?
Yeah.
Oh, like the URL?
Yeah. What's it called?
It's on Chew, and it's Fat32 Studios is what we go under, and so the URL is just chew.tv/Fat32 Studios, and we do it every Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Every Thursday, 8 o'clock, Fat32 Studios.
Drum and bass in your face.
Drum and bass in your face. And okay, I will go back into this personal, but we're on this. Where did this begin? Where did Fat32 Studios start?
Honestly, just back in, I think it was October. I've been getting closer with people in the scene. I started to become friends with Mike, who's DJ Fractal, and Steve, who's Phrase. And just knowing them, I think they had come up with an idea of just doing live streams, and they had reached out to me and thought, hey, do you want to join us for Thursdays and try to kind of start something up with the three of us? So we started doing that, and then we started inviting people over to come hang out with us. And Stu, who's incandescent, was one of those people, and he was just so great. He even had a couple songs on, like he played a couple guest songs. So after that, we were like, man, we should have guests on. And yeah, it was something just kind of fun, just something to promote ourselves. And now it's kind of turned into something to have on and every week and get to know different DJs and get to showcase our favorite DJs. And yeah, it's been fun so far.
And it continues to blossom. It's a great thing to lead yourself into getting pumped up for Run D&B every Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we try to time it so that it's like almost like a pre-drink. We don't want to ever clash with anything else going on.
Sure.
But yeah.
No, good for you. I did tune in a couple times. I've loved the sound. But excuse me. Like I was saying, let's dive into some more personal ones before we go back to this industry.
For sure.
Do you remember the first CD you ever purchased with your own money?
That's an embarrassing one. I want to say it's probably like Avril Lavigne or something, which is just something it's honest, but I don't want to take any pride in that whatsoever.
What's wrong with Avril Lavigne?
When she came out,
I love Avril Lavigne. When she had that Girlfriend song.
That's when I started to not like her.
I loved that.
I liked
awesome.
her like skater boy phase and her like tomboy, like her whole persona of like wearing the tie and everything. She was like definitely like a role model when I was a kid. And also just listening to all my like brother's old CDs because he's 6 years older than me, so of course I had like Spice Girls and like Backstreet Boys in the house and stuff. But yeah, I that and like maybe Fall Out Boy. I think Fall Out Boy was the next one that I definitely put my money towards.
That's yeah, no, I could see that in you. I could see those sounds and those songs. The thing I find interesting.
I'm like an emo. I feel like more of an emo like musical start, I guess.
What did you think of it when Avril married Chad?
Oh, awful.
Yeah, it was cringeworthy, wasn't it? It was like, ugh.
I mean, it's almost like it kind of makes sense now because I just like her. I dislike her as much as I dislike Chad. So I'm like, they're made for each other, but
they're made for each other. They're miserable.
Two Canadian loves can't beat that.
Well, you got the ones I love to point to are Chantal Kreviatsik and Rain Maida. Is it the?
Say that again.
Chantal Kreviatsik and Rain Maida, the guy from Our Lady Peace, and his wife, the singer.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, they've been married for years. Now they just came out with something like Sun and Moon, I think they're calling themselves, and it's like Sun versus Moon. Um,
Oh,
yeah, they're good people.
I haven't heard that name, Chantal. I haven't heard her like. She reminds me of like 2009, right? Isn't that when she was like coming out?
I
Am I
think of
wrong?
like Natalie Imbruglia or whatever, and Imbruglia, that Torn, like around that time, like when the Lilith Fair was coming out, and you had Sarah McLachlan and Amanda
Yeah,
Marshall and Chantal Kerviatsik. Um,
yeah.
but she was an amazing singer. She is an amazing singer, I should say. But yeah, you don't hear her much anymore. Rain Maida, obviously, still here with Our Lady Peace. Um,
Mhm.
but if you follow, which I do on Facebook, you see their personal stuff all the time. And most recently, I saw that they're doing an art duo concept of Sun versus Moon. I'm pretty sure it's called. Correct me, listeners, if you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're
And
very
you're
artistic.
saying that's adventure of them together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not an adventure of them together. It's something that a venture that they've done together. So it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're doing an artistic. I don't even know what it is. If it's an album or if it's like a theater display. I don't know, but it's a venture.
Oh, okay. It's
um,
an art piece.
it's an art piece at the end of the day. But yeah, and speaking of those days, like I loved pop music. Just recently, we just are going to see New Kids on the Block tour with Salt and Peppa and Tiffany.
Oh, nice.
Right? It's gonna be
That's
a
awesome.
fun time out. It's a fun crowd, and I like the Backstreet Boys, to be honest. Before even Gets Down came out, I saw them at the Warehouse, the old Gov,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a blast. And,
Yeah, I mean, they're just classics. And, like, also we had, like, tons of classic rock in the house. I guess that's why it's, like, I never really purchased CDs growing up because I felt like I had so much music in the house because my dad played bass in a band, and so we had a whole jam space in my basement, like, growing up, and he would have his band practice every night. And so I had access to, like, a drum kit and all this stuff. And, yeah, just growing up with his musical influence, it really infiltrated what I was listening to, I guess, up until my teens when I started to find my like emo and like my I don't know more popular music, I guess.
no, I get you 100%.
But I really love all my classic rock, and I hold it dearly in my heart.
Did you take a pride in any of those instruments? Like, did you actually
I
hone the
tried the
drums?
drums, but I felt like it was so hard to teach I learned some basic beats, but it was just hard to progress past what I knew because my dad didn't know drums. He wasn't the drummer, unfortunately. He was a singer as well, so I guess having that, like, I played keys a lot. I played the organ. We had an organ in my house.
Hmm.
So I grew up just kind of fiddling around on that, making songs, and they eventually put me in piano lessons because of it. But then I moved to guitar because that was in the house as well. Yeah, and like harmonica, like literally I would just pick things up as a kid, but nothing that really stuck except for the guitar and the piano, probably.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that when you talk to people from the mainstream world, if you will, and you'd ask them what their distaste for electronic music is, a lot of times they'll say either the lack of soul or the lack of talent required to make the music. Yet, when I
Yeah.
speak to anyone that is in, whether you're a DJ or producer, MC, they all have some sort of musical inclination. They know the rudiments of theory, if you will, or what it takes to make music. It's
Oh,
in them, you
for
know?
sure, yeah.
So,
Like even I've started to like try my hand at producing. I haven't gotten very far, mind you, but just kind of diving into Ableton, diving into all that, realizing, just the knowledge that you need to know behind it in order to even like get started there. And I mean, you can mess around, but it really takes knowing that theory. And I've spent some time with other producers and watching them work, and it's so funny. I've gotten in this argument with my father because he comes from such a rock and roll background that he just doesn't see the music side of electronic music. I try to show him drum and bass. I try to show him what I'm into, and he just hears noises and he just doesn't think it's real music. And I'm like, no, but you gotta understand. Like, here's my MIDI keyboard, and I'm punching in notes into this, and I'm arranging it. Like, if anything, it's more orchestral. Like you're making arrangements, which is like more than just picking up a guitar and playing by ear, which is what he does and which is what I do, which is also requires some talent, but it's interesting kind of combating his argument because I get so much flack from him, but he does value what I do. It's just definitely a barrier there.
well, it's interesting that you bring it up as a composition because you take, let's go Mozart, Bach, those days,
Yeah.
and they so slowly saw these instruments becoming one-man shows, and it was like these people aren't making music, you know, they're playing a guitar. I used to write for a whole symphony. And
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
now you're kind of doing that. Like your dad's there playing his bass and singing a song and he thinks he's more of a musician and you're there composing a whole symphony of sound. And
Yeah, and even when the Beatles came out, you know, it's like rock and roll music, that's all noise. Like, it's such a generational thing, I think, just to have a lack of understanding of something like such a new concept of music, I guess.
well, I think it's important for us to then dissect it and show them. For instance, with your father, I might show him some live PA and let him hear just the drums at first, and then let him hear a real bass player.
Yeah,
Car-
'cause, yeah.
then he might
I
appreciate
love
it.
the looping techniques. I love watching people construct like live, like just like what you're saying. He needs to understand that that's basically what they're doing, but all in one go kind of thing, instead of just working on it and recording it.
Show him Ronnie Size, live PA. I remember one set that was great where he plays Brown Paper Bag, and the whole band's there. Dynamite MC.
I feel like I watched that video. Oh my god, where they're on a huge stage.
I don't remember the size of the stage. I just remember it is dark, but the video's great because
Yeah,
you're right up there
I
with
think
them.
I just remember like how massive it, like just the vibes where I could feel the vibes from that. Yeah, and even Rudimental. There's one Rudimental video of, it's not the same, but it's Waiting All Night, and Ella Ayres is singing. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I could be totally wrong, but she's singing live and just feeling her friggin' energy while she's like in the studio, like giving her heart out, and I'm like that's real. This isn't just electronic music. Like this is soul-filled vibes. It's beautiful to me, and I wish I need to show him more, really. But yeah,
Okay, well, with
that's why
that,
I love it, really.
do you remember what the first concert you ever attended was?
Yeah, Panic at the Disco
Panic at
and
the
Paramore.
Who is that? Fill me in. Sing a song for me.
Panic at the Disco. Oh man, they do I Write Sins Not Tragedies, where it's like, I chimed in with you, haven't you people ever heard of? No? Closing the goddamn door. I don't know. It's really.
You know what? I could probably
sounds
sing their
nice.
songs for you too. I just wanted to hear you sing one.
Thanks.
I'm glad you did that. I was going to stay silent as long as I could, see how long you'd go. But thank you. And do you remember the concert? Was it a good time?
Oh, it was freaking amazing. Yeah, Jack Mannequin was there too, which I don't listen to any of these bands anymore, but like they really, really did it for me. I think that's the reason why I have my septum pierced, actually. I saw Haley Williams with hers, and I was like, that's a fucking beautiful piercing. I want that. Like back in 2008.
Is that the one in your nose?
Yeah, the little horseshoe that's like a bull ring.
You know what? I have that as your picture, just like in the last video. I used the same picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like tuck it in when you're in places?
I do.
Yeah, that's what I would figure.
That's another reason why I got it, because I did get it before high school. I did it myself, actually, before high school, and I did it so that my dad wouldn't know I had it. And it worked for a while, and when he found out, he didn't care either. But it's nice when I have to go to work at the restaurant and act like a normal human being who doesn't have a piercing in her nose.
Do you have any other piercings or tattoos that you'd like to share?
I have a tiny little Libra stick and poke on my ankle. I've been too afraid to commit to any expensive tattoos yet, and I used to have more piercings. They've all come out.
I don't get it, to be honest.
All.
I've always said I can't control the holes that are mandatory in my body, let alone start poking new ones into it. Like, but hey, all the
like
power.
It was my rebellion phase,
Sure, I'm gonna hang a shower curtain on my eyebrows. Get you, Ma. But
there was I would never do my own tongue. I would never do like certain things, but I knew that the nose was safe.
it honestly looks a little classy, I have to say. The photo that I have of you here, it's not bad. If I walked up to you at a bank, for instance, I wouldn't be like, I don't want this woman working with my money.
Yeah, and there's some pretty jewel ones. I'm thinking of getting a new one that's more diamondy. It's kind of to bring it up a bit, I guess.
Sure.
But either way, it works. I like it.
You should get some bling on there. I get you. Maybe spell your name up on it.
Right?
Like, I don't know, like a...
I actually haven't changed it in probably, I don't even know, like maybe 5 years. I think it's to the point where I can't even take the balls off unless I use like a plier or something.
Does this mean you haven't washed it in over 5 years and it's gotten so dirty?
Don't need to wash those.
What's that? Say it again?
I said you don't need to wash it. It's fine.
No. Just leave it in there and let it rust.
I mean, when it was healing, yeah, but now it's absolutely fine.
Oh my God. So, like, in all honesty, jokes aside, you can just leave it in there 5 years. You don't have to take it out and
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Don't quote me. I mean, I think that's fine. It's been
I hope
fine. It's been like 10 years now, actually, and I don't think I've really cleaned it much since I first got it.
I don't doubt
I mean, I
it.
blow my nose and I wash my face every day, right? So I kind of figure it's like, I don't
You pull, I
know.
can imagine you pull out this
No
5
problems
years
thus
worth of
far. We've been
boogers.
accident free.
What's that? Say it again.
Sorry, no problems thus far. I've been accident free since 2009. So
All right. Well, we'll
the
leave.
last thing I did was my belly button, but that didn't work out. So I knew better to take than to leave that one in.
So hold on. What did you do? You just get like a block of ice and ice up your belly, and
No,
then.
so I was more internet savvy, and I looked up what to do. And at the local head shop, Culture Rising, which I mentioned earlier, they sell proper like piercing needles. So they're sterile, they're hollow, and you put the jewelry in one end, and it's like a nice gradual needle, so it's nothing blunt, nothing too crazy, and yeah, it makes for a very easy pierce. And they're even hooked too, like they're curved to meant to go piercing. So yeah, definitely tried to do it the most legit way I could. I think it could be straighter, but that's my little secret that I guess, let out right now.
That's interesting. I can't believe there's a side of you, Jess, I didn't know existed. Self mutilation. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of dark. I have to say, I just never pictured you there with a needle putting
I
holes
had
in
the
your
guts. I
belly.
had the guts. I mean, it was like a thing to do. It was like, I don't know, the
It was
stoner
the
thing to
thing
do,
to.
I think.
You know what? It reminds me of when parents used to say, "So what if all your friends jumped off a building? Would you do it too?" Yes, I would actually.
I
I would.
mean, I had the sensibility to know that if it started like, if something started going wrong, I would have taken it out. It's all good. I like it. It's a part of me. I don't think I could ever take it out now. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I don't think I ever will.
You're talking about your nose ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I thought you said that you got rid of the belly one, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
moving
Yeah, you jumped around there on me. I couldn't follow.
on.
All right. Out of the belly and into the rave. Can you tell me what was your first rave experience?
Okay, so it was a Hey Rebel, which I also am not proud of because I know that those weren't the best. It was all ages, and I only went because my friend's old band was playing, and I was just kind of interested in see what they were doing. And I'd also been interested in raves. I'd seen pictures, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. These guys look pretty nuts. Seems like a fun time. Um, and a girl was going, and she's like, does anyone want to come with me? And I thought, hey, I'll check this out, I'll go with you. Ended up going, and it was like 3 stories, 2 rooms. Zed's Dead was up in the top, when they were like nobody, and Hugs Not Drugs was also a thing back then. I think Heidi also played it. Yeah, it was a great like venue that doesn't exist anymore. I don't even remember where it was, but it was definitely like a big eye opener into the whole scene of things, I guess. And I just remember dancing upstairs on that drum and bass floor and just like seeing everybody else dance and thinking, oh my god, this is amazing. This is crazy to see these people, like guys even. Like, I guess I'd come from such a, I don't know, I was like going to high school dances beforehand and seeing like, people be awkward about dancing, and now I'm seeing everybody with full self-expression on the dance floor. The DJs are just killing it, and yeah, after that I knew I wanted to go to like every single one after that.
No,
And then it just kind of, yeah, just tumbled away.
I can empathize with that on a very profound level. Yeah, the carelessness and the let looseness of people in the rave, it makes you
And the
want to smile.
colorful, it was so different. The people weren't wearing things to like impress everybody either. It wasn't like I had to be like hot to like fit in. It was just everybody was kind of, everyone was there to, I mean, I'm sure everybody was also on drugs as well, but I mean, it was just good vibes. It was back when Plur was like still like not, like respected, I guess. I don't know.
Plur is
I
no
miss
longer
Plur. I do
respected.
miss Plur.
I think it became cool to dislike Plur for a little while, but I think it's come back in that people, the real junglists, are Plur, if you will. And
Yeah, because I mean, it just stands for peace, love, unity, respect. Like, you can't disagree with that. And yeah, it became cheesy. I think that's why, like candy, it just became something to hate on because everybody, it just, I
well,
don't know. I think once corporate raves started getting bigger, like I feel like I came into the rave scene as that started happening as well, and I saw a lot of these like um, companies that I like, rave companies that I go to. Like I feel like they all just kind of, I don't even know what happened to a lot of them. Like I felt like I was following them, and I don't know. Like I think Heart of Gold, or no, what was the last one at the Opera House? That was the last like big happy hardcore rave that I
Hullabaloo?
think. Pardon?
Hullabaloo?
Oh, maybe it was Total Request. Was that the one that just happened? I don't know.
Oh, I
I
don't know.
see. I've lost track of them, but it just seems like ever since Digital Dreams started getting bigger, and I don't know, the scene has definitely changed since I
Well,
like
hold
watched
on.
it.
To be honest, there's a lot in what you just said that I'd
Oh,
like to
okay,
take in.
okay.
Okay, so when you talk about Candy Kids from the late '90s and early 2000s, I think we're talking about a different appeal than today, if there even is a Candy Kid, but maybe more of a happy hardcore listener. Um, so when you're talking Digital Dreams throwing parties that play the same music that Candy Kids were listening to in the early 2000s, I don't think the demographic is still the same. Do you get
No,
what I
I
mean?
just feel like I felt like what raves were changed when they started marketing their events as raves. Does that make sense?
Well, I yeah, but I disagree still because raves were raves in the '90s. You know, when they were at their pinnacle.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying in the corporatization, I guess, of things like when Destiny teamed up with Rogers, and
Like
for the
yeah.
for the first time we had corporations, I guess, or Benson and Hedges when they teamed up with the government to bring theory, or so yeah, you had corporations, but to me, the rave started to die. Um, First of all, when Hullabaloo, the stabbing at the docks, but I would go even further back in that when we stopped being able to throw them in the government buildings, when we stopped throwing phone line events and having our own sound systems,
Yeah.
um, going to stock systems, moving into any club that'll have you, and just going there so that it's a place to play the music, isn't a rave. And that atmospheric presence, I guess, gets lost when a promoter is just looking to make a few bucks at the door and not create an experience.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think guys like Brown and Marcus and other promoters, like even the Peaceful Entertainment and Last Planet guys, they do a great job in
Oh, for sure.
creating an atmosphere, right? And
Yeah.
isn't that what the rave is about, Jess? At the end of the day, it's the atmosphere, right?
Oh no, for sure, for sure. Well, that's what I guess that's what it was. Is I just felt like I had discovered this atmosphere, and then something about it had shifted soon after I discovered it, because it seemed like now when I had told people who didn't go to rave, like it felt like raves were a secret amongst like me and my other rave friends, but like people who were kind of going to high school with me, or something, like they didn't know what raves were. Like at my age, again, I am 24, so I guess there's like a generational gap here. But like to me, it just felt like when everybody started finding out what raves were, like people of my generation that weren't like in my scene already, the raves that they thought of were just different than what I thought of as raves, because I guess I was involved in the underground, so I'm like, no, those are raves. Like you don't know what a good rave is, because I would like
Oh,
I
I
felt what a rave is. Like those things are going to at like, I don't know. I can't even think of any of them because I've never been like Downsview Park. What's the one that they hold there? Maybe I'm just being a hater, but
no, no,
like
no,
I
no.
just feel like I know people who go to raves, but I'm like, that's not even a good rave.
I understand what you're saying. And
Yeah.
when you talk about the big events, they're not like what WEMF used to be. Now they're like the Veld Festival or the Digital
Yeah.
Dreams, like you mentioned. And they, I personally was just at the recent Andy C. Zed's Dead thing at Echo Beach. And
Yeah.
the vibe was nothing like what you expect. It was a bunch of club goers who were listening
Yeah.
to dubstep and drum and bass, but they didn't care
Yeah.
what they were listening to. They were all
Yeah.
just listening to noise, and girls were dressed skimpy and guys were trying to grab on them. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I can empathize with that. And when you say something like, the raves I went to aren't the same as they are today, and I feel as though the people that are coming to them today thinking they're going to raves aren't experiencing what I did, I empathize with you profoundly. But one thing I want to bring up is that when I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they have a
Mhm.
section at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame called The Rave. And
Oh.
I was like, what's this? So I went in, and rock concerts used to be raves. And basically, it's the fact that, establishments aren't going to have you in their building. You got to find a way to do it. And you take sound system culture, even, the reason why we have
Yeah.
jungle music today. These are people that
Yeah.
were putting generators and speakers because they couldn't find a better venue to hold them, and just throwing their parties out on the street. And
Yeah.
rock concerts used to do that. They'd get abandoned warehouses, they'd find, fields, and they'd throw these festivals until the cops broke it apart. So
Yeah.
imagine what our parents would think when we say, hey, you should come to a rave, and we bring them to a drum and bass party when what they thought of a rave was a rock concert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at least what I'm getting at is at least there's more of a closer tie to today's kids' perception of what a rave is to what our perception is compared to what our parents may think if they were into that stuff. And
Yeah, I guess that's true.
what does the term rave mean, right? And as far as I know, it's an event in a illegal facility. That's what I knew it as, was an unwanted facility
Yeah.
or somewhere you're not allowed to be. But nowadays,
Yeah.
people use it as any festival that electronic music's being played at,
Yeah.
right? They'll say any EDM festival is a rave.
It's true. Now that I've never really thought about the definition of a rave. I'm just like, to me, it's like a dance party, but like it also, that criteria is interesting. Because I guess I was associating it with the vibes, but what you're saying is true too. Like a rave is a rave. Like whether the people are feeling the vibes or not. Like, is that?
Yeah, we're talking about, well, what makes a good party versus what is the definition of a rave, right?
Yeah.
And do you have the boundaries, like the checklist of what makes a rave? Illegal venue, check. People are here,
Yeah.
check. Music is playing, check. It's almost like, how do I start my own religion? I don't know. Are people worshiping your words? Yes, check. Do you have a place for worship? Yes, I do. Check. You have a religion, sir. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be so pedantic, but if any of my listeners do want to write down exactly the definition of a rave and correct my dumb ass, by all means, please do so. Moving along, Jess, I got to ask you.
No problem.
I know you spin, and I got to ask, what inspired you to want to actually get on the decks and not just be a junglist on the floor?
Honestly, I think it might have been all my years of dancing. Like I feel like I've been feeling the music forever, and I love what the DJs give me, and I feel like I wanna do the same thing. I wanna showcase my collection of music and hopefully make the people on the dance floor also move the same way I move to other people. It's like I felt like I had a good sense of I felt like I had a good library, and I feel like I'm always trying to show people music, and I'm like, what better way than to just mix and show people my music? And I'm mixing the music into whatever while they're hanging out, smoking, chilling, drinking at my house, kind of thing. I just started mixing in the bedroom. My friend got into it, and so watching him, he made it look pretty not easy per se, but I guess just kind of close to home, like kind of from the environment of seeing it out at the club and just seeing my friend have a mixer at his house and realizing, that can be done. And he ended up getting another one and selling me his older one, which is like the bottom, like DDJ-SB, I think it was, like just a Serato mixer. And started messing around on that, playing for my friends. And honestly, a few years have gone by, and I've enjoyed it. And it wasn't until I had worked with Strange on a vocal track, and that had taken some time to get made or released, I guess. But when it was released, he was thinking of having a release party for his Power EP, and he invited me to come spin because he remembered hearing me say that I do spin at home. And I thought, I literally spent all morning thinking of an excuse to say no, because I'm like, I've never played out. Like, I'm not ready. I've never done this. Like, I can't do this. There's no way. He probably thinks I'm better than I am, or I don't know. I was just making every excuse imaginable in my head. But I couldn't write anything to him. I was like, none of these are good enough. And I realized, like, none of these are good enough excuses to say no in general. And he was like, dude, this is like, you can play the opening slot. Not that many people will be there, so it's not too much pressure, and you can just get a feel for, like, how it is to play live. I was like, wow, that sounds pretty good. So I ended up taking it, and it was way better than I ever thought. Like, I definitely was rusty, but, like, oh, man, feeling that first night of playing was, like, I knew I wanted to keep doing it. And ever since then, it's just been like saying yes to everything that comes my way, and playing every Thursday has been amazing practice as well. It's been forced, I guess, to be up on it every week.
Oh, that's awesome. Listening to you describe why you spin, it answers another one of my questions, which was going to be what makes a good DJ. But hearing you describe why you spin, I think you described what makes a good DJ, and that is playing what you want to play to make people move, or your tune selection. Like, this is what I think you're going to like.
And I've also been reading this book. It's called A DJ Saved My Life, and it's basically like the history of DJing. I haven't finished it, but the early beginning is it was just talking about how the DJs were just such a good way of promotion also for the people who wanted to get their music out. And I think that's also awesome, is just being able to like have friends who have music and being able to play their tracks and showcase their tracks, and then people are like, damn, what's that song? And you're like, oh, this is so and so's, and like that's really awesome. Like that's how I find music, is I listen to a lot of mixes. I'm like, dude, what is that song? Because it's showcased so well, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's actually being lost in evolution. Is they used to have producers who team themselves up, like take Dave the Nemesis Whalen and Marcus. You know, Dave, anything
Mm-hmm.
he makes is going to come out through Marcus. You're going to hear it and you're going to go, how, what is that? How did he get his hands on that? Well,
Yeah.
nowadays you got these producers who are shitty DJs because they don't align, or you've got DJs who are shitty producers. Very
Yeah, in
rarely.
my opinion, you have to do both in order to make it above everything else, to be honest. Like
Not
you
if you do
like
what you were just describing, though, Jess. Like, in my opinion, if you are a DJ who has a producer who will only work with you, then you'll be the exclusive DJ to that producer, and you'll give him the platform, him or her, the platform to, display their music to the masses through that DJ. So there'd be,
yeah, yeah, I guess yeah. I mean, I see people like Heidi and like James Brown are both people who are like really big DJs who I don't think they produce at all, but
Mhm.
definitely like it's definitely not impossible. I guess my goal is to do both because I just feel like that will just take me to the next level. But
Or
I
we can
also
take for
want to do both. I also want my tracks being played by other DJs because I feel like I have it in me to make music. I just need to like learn how to use the software to make the songs that are in my head. I guess, you know?
and I believe
That's
you'll
why I
get there.
sing as well. I've gone into vocals for that reason, I guess, because it's easier just to sing what's in my head.
Well, and you can always manipulate those sounds into other sounds using a
Yeah, no, and
sequencer.
I've actually been experimenting. It's fun. It's fun. It's just sometimes it gets to be a little too much, and then you just start making some really, really weird noise, and you're like, how did I get here?
Well, and I want to say there's also tandems where you get groups of people, like most famously Pendulum, where you have, some guys that are good at producing, some guys that are good at spinning. Let's all work together and be a group. And
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
that's another method. There's so many ways to skin the
Yeah.
cat, I guess. Um, excuse me, I have this frog in my throat, so I'm sorry. I keep clearing my throat while I'm talking to you. I apologize. This wonderful cold weather we've had over the last week has done a number on my
Oh, no
congestion.
problem.
um, what would you say is the biggest changes you've noticed in the scene? I know we talked about some of them, but from the day that you started to where we are today.
I feel like like recently it feels like it's just a lot of it is online. I've recently just been noticing there's less flyering. Like there is no flyering. I can't think of the last time I received a flyer. And a lot of it's like reliant on like online. I mean, we do our live stream, so like we're totally in that. But just starting to notice how things used to be more. I don't know. I guess just trying to get your event out, and also there's a lot of events always going on. So I think it's about trying to figure out like like the different sides of drum and bass and what people like what people are looking for in different, I guess, drum and bass companies too, because there's a lot that exist right now. Although I could be talking shit, I don't really know. I, I'm not like the expert of what was going on 10 years ago at the same time, but like it just feels like there's just so much to keep on the radar, and there's just a lot going on. I don't know. I just feel like drum and bass has exploded, or it's multiplied like exponentially. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. So I understand what you're saying. It's an interesting
But
answer.
it also could just be me finding out the scene. You know what I mean? Like I totally realize how naive my perspective can be because I am younger. I feel like I've met so many people of different ages in the scene, and that's like such an amazing thing. And I've learned so much from people and their stories, and the way things used to be and whatnot. But yeah, it's been like it hasn't even. It's not like anything is noticeably different. I'm just kind of lately realizing that like maybe I should like maybe we should start making flyers, or maybe we should start making more of a personal approach to people or inviting people out, because I feel like things have gotten so um, there's just so many events now, and I just feel like it's all in my Facebook, and
if
I
Here's
I'm,
what I
I'm
would
having
say.
a hard time like keeping track of everything, I guess.
I think you've got wonderful ideas, and I think that if you applied them to throwing your party in Streetsville, that you would throw a hell of
Hmm.
a party. Because I agree with a lot of your ideas. The practicality behind them is that promoters don't feel as though, I guess, the investment pays off the reward. So if I
Hmm.
let's say I don't know, pay $200 for a flyer design and then another few $100 printing them, and I go out and I spend the man hours in handing out those flyers.
Yeah.
Am I going to recoup that at my door for doing so? And
Yeah.
the immediate response is no. But
Yeah.
the thing that you do is you create a memory, like you're saying, an
Yeah.
experience, and over time you create a brand, and people will begin coming to your parties just because they want to experience your atmosphere, and that's all a part of it.
And that's why I would go to other parties back when too. It was almost like just those event companies that I kind of got to know because they would keep handing out, oh, this is the next one to go to. You know, it's not like I had to check online, like, okay, what are the 20 events that are going on? I don't know, it was just something more trustworthy. It's like, oh, well, you went to this event, so you're probably going to like this event. And I was like, yes, I will.
Here's my
there was
money.
something I was going to say. Dang it. Oh, well. It's okay. It was about that, but I lost thought. It's fine.
If you remember, please bring it back.
Okay.
I don't want you to forget things. All right, I got two final fun questions for you.
No problem.
If you could create a Mount Rushmore for jungle music, who would your four faces be?
Oh, man, that's so fucking hard.
You know what,
God.
Jess? Hold on. I just want to soundbite that one clip and just play that back to you over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, I have no favorites right now. I feel like I have no,
These aren't favorites. Hold on. Let's remember what Mount Rushmore is. It's not our favorite
Okay.
Americans. It's the
I
founding.
guess
It's like
it's like the gods, though, right?
it's not even the founding fathers. It's four presidents. So it's just, let's think of four faces that you might say represent jungle music. And they don't have to be DJs or MCs. They could be producers. They could be promoters. They could be the favorite, raver you see at every party. But yeah, just four faces that you think would emulate our industry.
Okay, give me a. That's so big of a question.
I promise you, none of them are listening. You're not going to get a call from Aphrodite tomorrow like, Jess, why didn't you say my name?
Okay, I'm gonna throw Andy C just because
Sure.
he's done well for me, and I feel like I've followed him to the holy grail of drum and bass land, so we'll put him up there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say. My choices aren't going to be representing the whole scene though. They're representing. Is that okay?
Of course it's okay. That's what it's meant to
Okay.
be. You cannot.
I guess so. I guess that's true. I can't think for the whole scene.
Exactly.
No, but for me, I would put Cameron Crooked on there. I know those are two people, but
I'll give you a
they would go on there
two-face.
because they were definitely a route for me when it came to getting into drum and bass.
Okay. Cameron Crooked.
I want to put Goldie just because I can't not I feel like hands down Goldie, and I want to say
Who does she want
I'm
to
just gonna
say?
say Calixton TV because I've watched the mix from 3 years ago and it's so fire, so I'm gonna just throw them in there for that reason. I love Calixton TV.
You got six faces, really.
I put Cameron Crooked into half of their face and it's squishing the one,
Same thing with
Makes
Calixton
for an
TV, I suppose.
interesting spread,
And to be honest, that was a great answer. I don't know why you thought it was so hard, but that was a great answer. Some people have refused to give one, so thank you, Jess.
I was I wanted to put audio in there because I love audio, but I'm I don't know. There's so many. There's just so many running through my head. And Smooth gets a shout out. I love Smooth.
You're cute.
Anyways.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, if you could put 5 items in a vault that would encapsulate our rave culture, what would the 5 items be?
Wow, oh man, these questions are killer. That encapsulates our rave culture.
So in 25,000 years, someone's going to open up this vault and they're going to want to know what the rave was. What do you have in there? You can put whole cities in there, clubs, people. Whistles, horns, tapes. Just some hints.
Okay, let me just take a sec.
Well, Jess takes a sec. I'm going to take a sip. If I could just recommend to all of my listeners that if you're going to drink water, drink Fiji. And if you can't afford it, just get yourself an empty bottle because I must have refilled this thing at least 20 times and the water tastes just as good every time. Fiji, tap water.
Nice.
Mm.
We'll throw one of those in there too. No.
You know what? There should be a bottle of water. Every rave needs one.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, throw a bottle of water. You need a spliff in there.
Okay.
You need a decent set of headphones. And a little mold, like a mold of like a cement little hand finger gun. And I don't know.
It's okay. Before you
And
give
my
me
camo pants. Oh my god!
Okay,
and my
camo.
camo pants. That's definitely going in there.
that was 5 items, I believe.
My purple camo pants. Those are definitely the last thing. Those guys have been with me since.
I
day
think
one.
you would confuse the hell out of people in 25,000 years with your molded gun thing. What is that? What is
finger gun? Like a finger gun, like finger guns, hands in the air, finger guns. So I would want like a mold of that so that people can know what to do.
Oh, I get you. Like a pop, pop, pop. Like
Yeah,
a rinse out.
exactly.
Boop, boop, boop. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
so,
you.
so they can see the shape to put their hand in so they know.
They would think it's a shocker shape. Have you seen idiots that still
no.
drive with that shit on their car?
Yeah.
What kind of a douchebag puts a shocker symbol on their...
I always have to look though, that's what they just want the look. They just want the attention. That's why they put it there.
It takes, like, here's the thing, like truck nuts, those things where guys hang like the sack?
Yeah, the ball sack.
Yeah, that's funny. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
The shocker symbol, I'm like, really? Like,
it's like, are you trying to pick up a girl or?
Yeah, you're really gonna get one.
I don't know.
You're gonna get your real Cinderella with that one. You fucking kid.
Yeah, meet the parents, definitely.
All right. Before I let you go, can you please tell people where they could hear you if they want to look you up right now? Always links below, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I don't have a DJ page because I'm still looking for a name. If anybody has a good one, let me know. Right now, I'm looking at Well Done. Give me some feedback. And otherwise, I'm just on Facebook, Jess Done, JessDone. You can find everything that I'm up to on there, and follow Fat 32 Studios for all of our live stream content updates as well. And YouTube. Type in my name in YouTube, and you'll probably find my singing videos there as well.
Yeah, we didn't get much on that, but this girl does have a beautiful voice, so check her out. Like I say, links are always going to be below.
On Spotify, too. Same name, JessDone. Type it into Spotify, you'll find a few of my tracks.
Do it up, man. Links below. As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace out.